is Jill Caroli, and you're listening to the MOTOXpod Show.
Hey, it's Ricky Carmichael, and you're watching the MOTOXpod Show.
Welcome to the MOTOXpod Show, starring Darkside. Its co-host Scotty, sometimes TJ.
Merry Christmas. We're back, MOTOXpod Show, with a surprise show. We didn't think we were going to do one this week. Got a hair up my ass last night. Scotty decided I was going to reach out to some riders and try to get a show going for everybody. So yeah, this is episode 253 this week, brought to you by Cherubies USA. For decades, Cherubies USA has been the leader in motoplastic and accessories. With products that fit perfect, look great, and last, Cherubies has what you need. Whether you need a full plastic kit, individual pieces, handguards, chain guides, and sliders, or anything else they offer, visit CherubysUSA.com and support our title sponsor and follow them on Instagram. And, let them know you're listening. Racetech is also on board. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Racetech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed, made in the USA. Racetech also offers state-of-the-art precision engine services and parts for all engine builders. So visit racetech.com. Use that promo code MOTOXpod to save. Also on board, this is the last one for these guys. Last show for a few of these sponsors. Fly Racing. They're on board. All their new stuff's out. Check them out at your local dealership. Distributed through WPS. X-Brand Goggles. Works Connection. Use that promo code MOTOXpod20. Get you a custom master cylinder cover with some engravings. Get your name engraved, your number engraved. Or at the very least, you need a Pro Launch Start device. Hook them up. Works Connection. Torque One Racing. R Jerky. Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID. Shock Socks. Williams Motor Works. Extreme Colors. Helmet Painting. Blood Lubricant Oil Lines. I just changed the oil yesterday in my Husky. Got that thing fresh. I did put the drain bolt back in tight. Made sure everything was set the way it's supposed to. Power Band Racing, TruFusion Sports, Grill Your Ass Off, all on board. Yeah, a few of those guys. This is the last show of 2021. New sponsor list coming in 23. But we're here tonight. Our show tonight, we've got Hunter Yoder from PRMX Kawasaki. Derek Kelley check-in from AEO Power Sports. And we were working on getting Austin Faulkner on, but we're going to actually move that to another show. And then we're going to talk to Brandon Hartranft. You guys probably, I'm sure, unless you've been under a rock for the last couple of weeks, know about his injury. Very, very serious, significant injury, life-changing injury for Brandon. Brandon's going to come on, talk a little bit about, how off-season was going. And then, of course, we'll get into the darker side of what sometimes happens in the sport. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. In studio, Scotty. Scotty, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Not much, man. How was your Christmas?
It was very, very good. It was very Christmassy.
Was it?
Yep.
Mine was pretty short. We had a little get-together at my mom's Saturday morning, and that was all I did. I don't have young kids anymore and single life, so...
Humbug.
I was just home. I literally worked... I think I have 15 hours or so in the Damon Bradshaw feature that I'm working on for Vital. I edited it felt like for 50 hours, but it's not. But it pretty much took up my Saturday and Sunday. I watched a little bit of TV too, but check on the football scores, make sure my Niners won. So playoffs, baby, we're going.
So are we?
All the way. Huh?
So are we?
Going in as a wild card. You won't make it long. You'll be out.
Okay.
Cowboys will be out pretty quick.
Okay.
Actually, the Cowboys and Niners may end up playing each other.
Probably not the first round, but
yeah.
maybe. Yeah. You never know.
That's gonna be I hate that. I hate when they play each other.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. First race coming up in about a week and a half. A1.
Yeah.
What you got some questions? So I guess we just should get right into your questions.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, before we get to Hunter Yoder. So yeah, let's see if you can carry this next 15, 20 minutes of the X-Brand Lucid conversation.
Where do I want to start?
I don't know. You should have been prepared.
Let's start with this one. Let's go with, does Chase's outdoor season actually carry over to Supercross?
Absolutely.
Well, you want to care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think last year what he finished, man, I forget where he finished. He was kind of far down in the points. He had some bad races, some big crashes where he throw the start away. I don't remember exactly where he finished, but he was figuring it out at the end of the season. Rolled over, like you talked about, into outdoors where he was extremely confident, figuring things out on the bike. He was not happy with the bike in Supercross. Outdoors he was. So, yeah, I think the confidence of what he learned outdoors will roll in. I actually Chase was one of the guys I was trying to get on tonight. I think he learned a lot outdoors. He's the head of the team now, basically, with Kenny being gone. So I think mentally he's probably learned a lot. He is going to be a very different Chase Sexton, in my opinion, and he's ripping during off season. I
think if you go off of just him battling with Eli, maybe that doesn't carry over. But they were hands above the rest of the field.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of does, maybe I didn't win the championship, but I gave one of the greatest guys to ever ride outdoors a run for his money, and we just completely demolished the rest of the field. And so I think you're right. I think that confidence, because the reason I thought of this question was the last couple of years there's been an outdoor guy where it's like, all right, that's going to carry over, and it hasn't. So that's kind of
Ferrandis.
Yeah, Ferrandis, Osborne.
I don't know who picked him to win that year. That was crazy.
Yeah, only an idiot would do that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You want me to play the drop? Is that why you said that?
No, it doesn't need to be played. But you learned. Maybe. No, you didn't learn.
I'm this year. How about that? Not really, but.
All right, so
Dylan will be better this year, though.
But, I think so.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Coker said all the problems that Dylan was having last year that made him struggle in Supercross, he is absolutely not having those problems. And Dylan told me the same thing. Dylan, I will not call Dylan for the championship, but Dylan will be significantly better this year. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, that kind of makes a good point to this next question.
Okay. Are we done with Chase already?
Is there anything else that you wanted to say about that?
What do you think about Steve talked about last year or last week, and ML was in studio, that it sounds pretty confirmed that he's going to KTM in 24.
Was not aware of that.
Okay, we're going to push past that.
Huge news. To be fair, I do listen to that show, and I listen to other stuff, but I've been doing it while I'm at my new job.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like background noise.
Sure.
So I do kind of ghost out on some things, and I miss some things. So
right.
But yeah, so that kind of that's definitely something.
Yeah, you kind of wonder if again, it's not confirmed, but it's we know it's happening. So
is that because of Jet?
I think the situation came up when he was unhappy during Supercross last year. The discussions came up when he wasn't happy with the bike. So
is KTM right now? Do you think, depending on what KTM does this year in Supercross, has a lot to do with that decision in the long run?
I don't think so. I think he's already made the commitment. He hasn't signed anything because he can't, but I think he's already made a verbal commitment. That's the rumor. Let's just go with that. That's the rumor. Regardless of what happens, you just wonder, this being a contract year, technically, does that add extra motivation? I need to do better. I need to perform.
Or is
it I already know where I'm going. I don't really care. That's obviously he's not going to say I don't care, but I think Chase is one of the top. He's on my podium. Let's go with that. He's on my podium.
Well, then let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's say he does win a championship on Honda. What does that do?
What do you mean? Does it change his mind?
Does Honda throw him big bucks?
Well, they're going to try to throw him big bucks, but he doesn't care about money right now. He cares about the bike. He told me he did tell Michael Lindsay that on record. Michael asked him at the photo shoot, I think it was, or something that Honda did a couple weeks ago, if you were going to go to another team, what would be the reason? And he says, I don't care about the money right now. I care about the bike and the performance. I want to win a championship. So if he feels like KTM is a better fit, team-wise, bike-wise, then that's what it's going to be.
But then what if he wins a championship on the Honda, then obviously it was good enough.
Yeah, but if he's not completely happy at Honda, that makes a difference.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, and I don't know if he is or not. But all right, next question.
All right. How invested is Tomac?
Very. But what do you be more
So
specific?
let's say, he's doing Supercross only, supposedly. He's kind of answered a lot of the questions that, he's not a one and done season Supercross championship anymore. He's had multiple outdoors, multiple Supercross champions. He's getting older. Is this kind of, do you think he's like a farewell tour kind of thing? Or do you, because the reason I thought of this was it's arguable that at very multiple points during the season last year that he wasn't really the fastest guy.
Jason was.
Jason
more
was.
often than not, yeah.
So, and he kind of played the, he wasn't very, lack of a better word, impressive in the first 4 or so rounds. Arizona was the first time where he kind of showed up and showed us that dominant Tomac. I have a point on that point if you want. I can wait. Okay. I'll finish it up real quick.
Okay.
I was just going to say, like, he kind of just played it smart and consistent, and then all of a sudden he had a big points lead because of Anderson had some mishaps with Mookie and all that drama and all that stuff.
Sure.
So is he just going to kind of play it cool and calm and collected and then see where that takes him, or is he coming out invested in like trying to be the guy?
No, I think he's invested in trying to be the guy, and he does always kind of start slow.
Yeah.
That's because normally he stays in Colorado riding by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He came to Florida last year for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This year he just spent a week in Florida. And like I had Coker on for a Vital interview a couple weeks ago, and he talked about that. And so did Eli when I talked to him a couple weeks before that. And like he's not building that intensity, the race intensity, when he's riding by himself. So he comes down to Florida this year and rides for a week with the boys to get that intensity up. So hopefully the season will start off more intense. He doesn't have to take a week or two of getting used to racing with guys all around him.
Yeah.
Because that takes a little while to get back into
does.
that. So I think he's certainly invested. He didn't have to re-sign for this year. I mean, it was up in the air until summertime. So he didn't. Yeah, he's not going there and taking another year contract just to hang out or say goodbye. He wants to win another championship.
Heard. Well,
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think?
I think so too. I just thought it was a good question to kind of bounce around with.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next.
Alrighty.
How's our YouTube listeners?
Everybody's kind of same old crew.
Same old crew.
Hal asked
Same.
how Dean Wilson would do in the first race.
He's gonna win, Dean. Or he's gonna win, Hal. If I say anything other than he's gonna win, Hal will be like, that's BS.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this one. Did Mookie miss his chance to win a Supercross race?
Ooh. Oh, to win a race? No, there's still a chance. I thought when you asked the question, my mind went to championship.
No.
To win a race, no. Malcolm still has an opportunity. He'll win a Supercross before his career is over. I can't say if it's going to be this year or not. He's every bit as good, or he's good enough to win a race. Absolutely.
I just was kind of wondering if that was kind of like that. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen last year. You don't think so?
I think he has to refine the next level of whoop speed, which he struggled with that new generation of Austrian bikes.
Supposedly that's all worked out.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But no, I think he can definitely still win a race. I mean, I think that the conditions are going to have to be absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a guy that can come from fifth back and win necessarily.
Yeah.
But get a good start, top 2 or 3. Yeah, right night for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It just seemed like it seemed like it was supposed to happen last year. And
I mean, he's not in my top 5 for the championship. Which kind of
he got third last year.
I know he did.
So
I know.
That's ballsy.
Well, I mean, I think Kenny's going to be better this year, and I think Cooper's going to be better this year, and I think AC is back, and I don't. Chase was outside the top 3. I don't see that happening this year. So
okay, I got that. That makes you brought up AC. That's another one I have. Can you realistically consider AC as a title contender?
No, I cannot. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. He's going to have to show me something first.
It would be a surprise if
right now it would be. Yeah.
So
he hasn't been consistent enough. He's still dealing
Steel?
He's steel. Ooh, that was country. He is still, I think, I can't do it. I can't say it without. He still has a little bit of an issue with his the numbness. I think. I don't know that that's completely gone away. I think he's still struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Still. God dang. Rebuilding.
Yeah.
So, I don't see him as a championship contender right now.
Yeah.
Look, I would love for him to come out and win a championship. I'm not hating on AC. He's going to have to show me something first.
I think so too, but I just think, that's why it was a cool question, because he's one of those guys where he has the speed and the talent to do it. So it's like, has that much gone away from him to where you just can't consider it? And, and it's just because, like, he has the speed to where I think you almost you really can't say that he's not. I mean, obviously history has shown that it hasn't gone his way. And he, like you said, the arms and the numbness and all that stuff. But I just think it's hard to not say that it's not possible.
Well, I'm not saying it's not possible, but he hasn't done full seasons.
Yeah.
When he is running up front and shows that speed, he'll be fastest qualifier many times, but then he can't maintain that for the entire race because of the things going on with his body, I think. He's going to have to show us something. He's going to have to be consistent. And that's what I would focus on if I was him this year, is like, okay, I'm not going out to win a championship. I'm not even necessarily trying to win every race. Let's try to be top 4 or 5 every race. And let's keep consistent lap times for the whole main event, and then let's build from there.
Right.
And let's not crash. Let's not tuck that front end, AC.
I know. It's just I remember seeing him when he was like this tall in '80s, and I've just always kind of expected it.
Man, he's one of my favorite riders,
and
I love talking to him, and I think we're okay. Like he actually texted me back the other day, but I need to see something out of him for the first 4 or 5 races. Even if he goes out and wins, let's say he wins the first 2 rounds, I'm still not going to be all in.
Right, yeah, because you're going to have to do it.
Maintain, man.
You got to do it the whole time. All right, I got another one. Who does better, Webb or Roczen?
Ooh, that's a good one. I am on the Ken Roczen bandwagon right now.
Yeah?
And I don't remember.
Kickstart your heart?
I don't remember if I said this the last time we did a show or who I was talking to, but I don't know if it's just because we actually bonded in Paris a little bit for like 10 minutes, and I'm just like,
you got bromance going.
I'm fanboying a little bit, but right now I am on the Ken bandwagon. He seems to be in a better place than he's been in years. I would really love to see him go out and win on the Suzuki, just because of the fact of all the crap talking over the years on Suzuki, including me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Ken right now, and I don't think the Austrian bikes have figured out the issue in the whoops.
Yeah.
And Cooper's already struggles in the whoops. Mm-hmm. We got a bike that's a little bit worse in the whoops that makes it worse, and that bike was not allowing him to cut down the way he likes to and ride the way he likes to last year. So I don't know if that's fixed.
He did seem to have a real top. Like he never seemed that where he could really be loose and comfortable.
He couldn't. That bike didn't work the way he needed it to work, and I don't know if it's fixed yet. So.
Even with that being said, I still think that the way Webb is and the way that he's kind of been his whole career is I just don't see him having another season like that. I think he's
another bad season.
Yeah,
I don't either.
Or not ideal. Maybe I don't necessarily maybe see him winning the championship, but I think that he'll be second or third, and I just don't see Roczen doing.
Than I have him, but
and when it's all said and done, it's going to be. It's never what you think it's going to be.
That's true, and he's one of those guys that we always go, oh well, the mental toughness. He's mad. I've said that. He's going to come back. He's pissed off. He's going to kick everybody's butt because he's mad. And that's another thing. Like, we'd like to believe that, but you don't know. He's getting older, so those things start to get a little harder to do. So as he gets older and farther into his career, and the other guys step up, like Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton, the new guys or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be harder and harder for Cooper to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting him there. Again, sort of like AC, you're going to have to show me something different than what I saw last year, because he surprised us 2 years ago with the way he rode, and that was all mental. The way he just kept tracking down Kenny and just breaking Kenny over and over. That was a mental thing. I don't know that he can do that again.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to see if he has, because I think the benchmark speed is going to be Anderson, Tomac, and Sexton. Can you run that speed? It's going to be the question all season long. Are those guys going to always be at that same position? No, they're probably going to have some troubles, but I think that's going to be the benchmark speed.
I agree. Those are the guys I have up in my top 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
Got time for one more before
Yeah,
Hunter.
and this is the last one I had. Who do you think this season will define the most?
Ooh, give me an example of what you were thinking when you brought this question up.
Like,
we're sticking 450s.
so say like an example could be Tomac wins another championship and becomes like the GOAT number 2, you know, or
I got you.
Anderson wins a championship and then now he's not just, you know, he's a great of the legend of the sport.
That's actually where I'm leaning, because Jason is my pick for the championship.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a image of Jason that he just doesn't care that much.
Yeah, but I think that's so talked about now, though. I don't think that's really the case.
Maybe
anymore.
not, but I think there are some people that still feel that way. So
Yeah.
I think Jason's going to set himself. You know, the first championship was sort of quote unquote, it was a little lucky or whatever.
Yeah.
I think this year is going to define him as one of the elites. Even, you know, last year was very close, but again, we had the issue like you talked about with Mookie. You know, he had a little run in with Kenny. There's a couple times where he just brain farts or whatever, you know, just lost concentration, whatever it was. And I think this is the year where he's going to step up one more step.
Yeah.
I don't know that he does races that many more years.
Yeah.
So I think this is the year to define Jason and who he wants to be remembered as.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, and it's easy
too, so.
It's easy to forget. And I've been going back and through and watching the 2021s, getting ready for the 22 season.
Yep.
And 22s, getting ready for the 23 season. And that I think it was like round 4 when he had just passed Tomac, and I think he was going to catch whoever was in the lead, and then the bike started smoking. Mm-hmm. And then I think he ended up like 12th or 13th, something like that race. That's like, you know, he only lost. I know Tomac left or whatever, but he only lost the season by 9 points, and like that was, I think that definitely was like a season defining.
That and A1, right?
When they getting hit, yeah. So I think that's a good take. I think who will define the most is I'm gonna go on a reach here, and I'm gonna say Cianciarulo.
Okay, meaning what though? What do you expect out of him?
I think if he puts through a solid season and ends up top 3, top 5 in the overall points, but probably top. I think it would have to be top 3. I think if he does top 3, it'll answer a lot of questions, and I think it'll be a very defining moment in his 450 career.
I wanted to talk about Colt Nichols.
Yeah, that's a wild
We only got a
card.
couple minutes before Hunter, so I'm sure we'll have some more downtime. Yeah, so let's get back to Colt in a minute. Let's take a break. We'll be back with Hunter Yoder. All right, guys, we're back. Hunter Yoder did not answer, so what I want to do is get into Colt Nichols. Colt Nichols made the move over to the factory Honda team. Scotty, he's been doing a lot of development on that bike and testing, kind of filling in for Trey Kennard, who's hurt. What do you think Colt's best is going to be? What do you expect out of Colt?
His ceiling?
His ceiling, yeah, for 23. He seems really happy. He seems to be gelling with that bike from everything I hear. He could be a spoiler for some guys.
I think if you were to ask this question 2 or 3 seasons ago, I don't see him being on that same caliber as it was then.
Even in his championship year?
No, I'm talking about the rest of the field. I think now that your Tomacs and your Andersons and your Webbs and Roxons, all those guys that have clearly been, if you go pull back the top podiums for the season, it's, all of those guys are in there. And I think a couple years ago the caliber would have been something where I don't think Colt might have been quite there.
Okay.
Now that he's a little bit younger, he's obviously had some time to.
You just said now that he's a little bit younger.
Now that they're older and he's a little bit younger.
Okay. I was like, trying to wrap my brain around this.
Now he's a little bit younger, and now that they're all a little bit older, I guess I did say that weird.
Still sounds funny, but okay.
Anyways,
the age difference is still the same.
Okay.
I know
he's young.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay. He's still young enough. That's better. He's still young enough to where I think he has a little bit of an edge when it comes to some stuff like that. And I think that if you were going to say that he is not capable of winning a race would be incorrect. Would be a false accusation.
I mean, okay. Yes, he's capable of winning a race. So many things would have to go right.
You think?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen him on a 450 like racing, so maybe I'm completely wrong. But I don't see very many scenarios. It's a big word.
Yeah.
Where he goes out and beats Eli, Ken, Jason, Chase, Cooper Webb, Marvin Muscan, Malcolm Stewart. Yeah, I just don't see it.
I think he has that speed.
Okay.
I mean, well, let's ask this. When the beginning.
Wait. Is he wearing the dangling earring in 23?
Oh, of course, that's his thing.
Okay, all right. Well, we're good then.
Yeah. When you go look back at the season that he won the championship, and then last season before he got hurt, he was pretty much. I think you could say clearly faster than Christian.
Okay.
And like noticeably faster. And I think that he was probably on the same pace, or if not very, very close to what Jet performed. So
I'm not gonna say no.
So that being said, that speed should be good enough to be in the mix.
Doesn't always translate though.
So
450. Everything's so different.
So do you think that you put Jet in a race right now? Does he win?
That's interesting when you say that because
you throw Jet into A1. What are his percentage chances of winning?
Higher than Colt's, less than some of those guys I named earlier, though. Oh,
Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
And then, then look, go back last year, Colt
No,
speed. And
you know what? I say Jet doesn't win either.
Okay.
No,
Let's stick to it.
I'm not jumping. Yeah, I'm not.
That's a good point. That's a good way to look at it, though.
But I'm not jumping on the.
Because I think if you say that Colt couldn't beat Jet at any point last year, I don't think that you could say that.
Colt didn't make it very far.
Well, he still has the speed.
Did he though?
And he won a championship over Jet the year before. He was the guy that Jet couldn't keep up with.
At times.
I'm just saying that's the way you got to look at it.
Not hating on Colt. Same as AC. You're gonna have to show me something first. I got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. I'm not ready to jump down on that bandwagon. Can't do it.
Sporting has a good point. Will Colt having Will training him, and then I know Kennard got hurt, but Kennard was doing a lot of setting up the bike. I think he could be a top 8 guy. His rookie season on 450s. That's top 8. It's not a very big.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big stretch. So yeah, and actually, Colt is doing most of the development now.
Yeah, because Kennard got hurt.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't get text. I got people looking for Hunter. Yeah, I think the bike is getting better, and Colt's doing a lot of that. He's the guy, and Colt apparently rides a lot like Chase. Like Chase has said, that we're getting back in the direction we need to be because Kenny was very different the way he set a bike up than Colt and Chase. And Chase and Colt are very similar.
Yeah.
So what Chase is doing is getting more in line with what Colt needed. So I think the bike is getting better for those two guys. Top 8, yeah. I mean, I might even up in one and go top 7. Woo! Hot take.
If he was third, fourth, fifth in the points at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be, I think.
You really?
Yeah, I think I would be.
I
don't see any of those guys coming in that soon and beating the main guys that we're listing. Unless we're talking about injury free, first of all. Right?
Okay.
I mean, I do not see Colt coming in and beating Chase, Jason, Eli, or Kenny regularly.
I'm not saying that he will, but I'm trying to say that I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I would be.
Like are you saying like it would break the internet kind of thing?
No, I don't think so, but I think it'd be a surprise. I mean, I think a lot of people would be like, what the F?
I see. I don't. I think that he's showed that he has enough speed to do that.
I suppose we're going to find out
Yeah.
in, I mean, a few days,
Yeah.
a week and a half.
I'll be there. I'll be there. So
What is your problem, man?
I don't have a problem.
I mean, yeah, I'll be there, but
Man,
you'll be
just
watching on TV. You'll
yeah.
know just like I will.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you're kind of being a dick right now.
Oh, so I'm being the dick. I'm for the
Yeah, I
once
mean,
I'm being the dick.
You're hating because like I'm going to be there.
I can't be jealous.
Yeah, you can be jealous, but that's kind of being a dick.
Oh, okay. I forgot that you've never been a dick in the history of being a dick.
Do you have any proof? Do you have any anything to show me that where I was a dick to you?
I probably could soundbite some stuff.
Do you know how to do that?
Oh, there you go, right there. You're being a dick. Case in point, from up on, I didn't have to pull a sound now.
Man, when are you gonna get a motorcycle fixed?
February, indefinitely.
Yeah, I brought that up because Jesse's actually the one from Williams Motor Works. He's the one trying to get a hold of Hunter for us. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's working on, man, your parts are back ordered. That's crazy. What the hell? Maybe you need a different brand.
KTM, man.
Yeah, maybe you need something else.
Maybe I should have just put my drain bolt back in.
That would have probably helped.
Would have eliminated a lot of these issues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a bummer, man, because I've been riding a lot. And I'm riding tomorrow.
And it was
It reminds me, I got to text.
it's not even like small stuff that I'm waiting on. It's like the major things.
Right.
It's like the cylinder head, the piston, and the cams. It's like all the little stuff I have. It's the big stuff that kind of need those things to ride a dirt bike.
You do.
I
man.
rode TJ's a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Did you try to go to Athens again and it got rained out again?
And they didn't get rained out.
Or
Just didn't
canceled?
nobody showed up.
Yeah.
They just turned it into a practice day.
That's what I saw. I knew something like that happened on. How was your ride though?
I had fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I hadn't rode on a motocross track in 8 months. I didn't have a lot of stamina, but I did ride.
Cool.
TJ's 50F is pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah, it's definitely not stock.
We got to tell people about his stupid e-bike he built. Have you seen this thing?
Dude, I rode it, and that thing's sick.
Shut up.
It's quick.
I don't care if it's fast. It looks like a piece of crap.
It's fast, dude.
I don't care if it's fast.
It's cool. You
There's
just put it
no way
in
that
gear
bike
and you go.
works well, like
He
a
did.
real
He did.
e-bike.
He did say that he ate complete
Oh, yeah.
shit on
He
the
thinks he broke
trails.
some ribs.
Yeah, and dog just kept riding.
Yeah, that thing is a typical
TJ
hillbilly junk monkey contraption that TJ came up with. He wants like me and Mark Poole and Cooley to like do a test ride, Chase to do a test ride on it. We're all like, no.
Dude,
And he's like, but it runs good. We don't care. If it works
in
okay.
in about 3 or 4 seconds, you're going faster than you want to be going on
I
a
don't
bicycle.
care. It looks hideous. I'm not riding it. It's like if I don't know, like I'm trying to think some of those old people, like those old people black shoes that you always see old people wearing, or people in the restaurant business that wear these black shoes that look bad but they're comfortable. I don't care if they're comfortable. They look awful. I'm not wearing them. I'm not riding that thing that he built.
So okay, let me ask you this.
Okay,
So-
sure, go ahead.
So say you show up to Kiefer's house,
Yep.
and he's got this bike, and it just looks like complete ass.
Yeah,
Like, it's just
I don't want to ride it.
missing a front fender. It's got it's scratches and stuff all over it, and it's got like one what are they called? Freaking handguard. It's got one handguard on one side, not on the other. But he's like,
TJ wants us to call him.
but
Should we?
he's
Should we
like,
ignore him.
But Kiefer's like, I promise you, Dark Side, that is the best bike you'll ever ride.
Yeah,
You wouldn't ride it just because it looked like crap.
probably. I don't know.
That's-
Probably.
that's
This
fake.
thing, there's
You're
no way
fake,
this is
dude.
the
You're-
best
you're
bike
fake
that
news.
you've ever rode. This is like a Walmart. It's
Dude, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just plastic. It's all
does matter what it
superficial.
looks like.
It's all superficial stuff.
superficial is important.
No, it's not.
I don't know, man. I can't give TJ. I can't give TJ the benefit of the doubt on this thing because it's a freaking. I've seen some of the shit he's built, and I don't know.
I
man.
rode it. The thing was impressive.
Yeah, I can't.
You there?
I can't. Shut up, TJ. Hang on. I haven't introduced you yet. I can't really take your word for anything, Scotty. You didn't put a drain bolt back in.
Oh my God!
And you don't know some of the biggest news.
People
in
don't
moto.
forget.
TJ, what's
What's up?
What's up, man?
I have your back for once, TJ.
I know. I mean, I was actually impressed. I was ragging you constantly in the group or in the chat, but I'll take all of it back.
Shit, TJ, let us call you back. Hunter Yoder's ready to go.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Damn.
Hang tight. Let's get Hunter on.
Oh man. Great radio.
Hunter Yoder. Hunter.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. We got you. How you doing, dude?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good. We're just BSing on the show about some different things. But hey, real quick, I wanted to bring you in. Tonight, Hunter Yoder is brought to you by Works Connection. Since the inception of Works Connection in 1989, Eric Phipps's goal has been to produce Works-like products for the general public. With products like the industry standard Pro Launch Start Device, the Elite Clutch Perch, radiator braces, and many other items, check out WorksConnection.com and use promo code MOTOXPOD20. Tonight, Works Connection brings us Hunter Yoder. What's going on, Hunter?
Nothing much, man. Just got back home a couple days. I was training out at south of the border in South Carolina with my parts of the PRMX boys. So just been enjoying some time back at home. How have you been?
Doing good, man. Yeah, I haven't really seen you since the Kawasaki 250F intro. And at that point, I didn't think you were going to race this year.
Yeah, that was like, so when I saw you, I only had ridden about 3 or 4 times since Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Kiefer called me and asked if I wanted to do that. And of course, I never want to miss any opportunities like that. So I actually went out and rode the day before at Paris just to make sure it was, I could still somewhat get around the track. And then I went back the next day and just to coincidentally, Julian from the Hartzilla PRMX team called me a couple weeks later after I rode that Cowie. So
and you knew you liked it.
It was a big coincidence, but I'm super pumped for all those opportunities.
Yeah, did you like the bike that day? Is that part of what made your decision?
Yeah, I think, like, the big thing for me was being on the Honda all those years. So I had never ridden anything else. So getting to ride that Kawasaki, I guess, a couple months before I made my decision, it really helped a lot. Because, some of the factory guys I know all kind of sneak out, right? And they'll ride their bikes before they sign on.
Right.
But I didn't do that. But part of I may have thought about it if I didn't ride the Kawasaki at Paris that day.
Yeah, I think Julian's been doing a really good job over the last couple of years of trying to improve his program, and he really wants what's best for the riders. How much interaction have you had with Julian until now?
Until I got to south of the border, I had met him one time.
Okay.
At it was at Lake Elsinore.
Yeah.
And it was I was just riding on a practice day, and it was just a brief, meeting. He had his stuff to do, and I was training, so I was just focused on riding. But
Yep. There?
Up until then, I had never met him until I got to south of the border, pretty much.
Okay. All right.
Alexa, turn on.
Oh.
Hey, your brother's on the phone.
Sorry, just
It's
got back
okay.
home. But yeah, like you said, Julian's been putting in a lot of hard work as of recent, and I've even noticed big gains, like just from last year to this year. He's got a lot more support, and I know the big thing was gotten Kawasaki support this year. which I don't know how hard it is because I'm not on that business side of things. But as Julian was saying, it's pretty rare to get like support from Kawasaki like he did. So it's really cool to see him trending upwards.
Yeah, I've heard some good things. I know Cade Clayson's back on the team, and yeah, I think he's made some steps. Julian has made some steps up this year with the team and the whole package.
Yeah, he definitely has, and I know that even still, you know, he's always working. He's always trying to bring on new people and more sponsors.
Yep.
To make us and the team better, which is really cool to see, you know, especially for me as a rider. It's cool to see somebody that is that dedicated to running a team and owning a team and trying to make it better.
Absolutely.
All right, Hunter. So before I ask this question, are you doing West Coast?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I will be doing West Coast.
Alrighty. So now that we're so close, about a week and a half out, I just want to know, like, do you are you starting to feel that adrenaline change, like when you're doing your riding and stuff, like now that it's that close, like kind of the old saying, you can almost taste it. Does that, you start feeling that, or does it kind of all hit you on the day of the race?
I don't try to change anything in my program. I know some people, you know, obviously a couple months ago we had our big boot camp, and for me, my boot camp was just getting back into riding, because like I said, I haven't ridden very much at all. So my biggest thing was just getting back into riding and just working on my fitness and all that stuff. So, but back to your question, I think just the adrenaline will come on the day of the race. I don't think it's as of right now, I'm just trying to take it a day at a time and not overthink anything too much and just take it as it comes.
Yeah, so you talked about the boot camp and kind of getting back into training. Where do you feel you are right now? Like you said you were off the bike since Salt Lake City pretty much, and it takes a long time to get back in race shape, and you haven't really raced much since Salt Lake City or at all, unless you've done some local stuff. So where do you feel you are as far as how close to where you need to be competitive do you think you are?
Well, last season I was pretty competitive there at the end. It took me a couple races just to get comfortable on my bike, which held me back a little bit, but I was at the practice track. I felt really good. And, now coming into this year, I feel like right now I'm, ahead of where I finished last year. So,
okay.
I'm feeling really good. I'm confident that, you know, I can be a top 10 guy is where I want to be. You know, that's my goal. So I think anything short of that I won't be too happy with. But at the same time, you know, I only made 2 main events last year. So it's kind of all about how you want to look at it, I guess. But I don't want to look back at last year. I just want to focus forward and be where I think I should be.
Yeah, I want to ask about that. So as an amateur, you were a really good amateur. I think you won a couple of Loretta's championships, if I'm not mistaken. And through your amateur career, you had some support from Phoenix Honda, and I want to say the Factory Connection Honda team. And then, of course, last year you were with the Ty Lube team, which I think there might have been some struggles with that team here and there. But what was the struggle? What's been the biggest struggle from your amateur career to going pro that really surprised you?
The biggest thing changing over, I think, is just like, it's what I realized last year was, obviously I rode for a team, but I'm based out of California and they were based out of Kentucky. It was just me and my mechanic Scott last year that were pretty much doing the work every day. So I think, you know, like, say a guy like Jet, you know, he has a team of people around him every day, and they're nitpicking every little thing on that bike from their department, whether it's suspension, chassis, motor, whatever. Those guys all are working together to make that motorcycle better. And, you know, for me last year and my mechanic was incredible last year, like one of the best mechanics I've ever had. But when you have 3 or 4 of those guys, it's a lot better than having just one and a rider, you know? So I think the biggest thing is if you don't have the resources, it's really hard to improve at the rate that, you know, a racer wants to improve at. Supercross is really hard as it is. And, you know, we only get a couple months of practice time before we go and race. So you got to make every day of those couple months count. And when you have those extra resources, that's a really big help every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so, you know, doing all your training and all this off-season stuff, what do you find, what part of the Supercross track do you find that it's hardest to replicate during your training?
That's a good question. And I think, honestly, the biggest part that you don't really realize is, you know, say you're doing a 15-lap main event, and whether you're landing the jumps all perfectly or you have a little case or an overjump or whatever the case is, really, you get a lot of G-forces that go through your body. That was one thing that I noticed when I first couple weeks back on Supercross. Like, your body gets really sore, I guess, within the first 2 or 3 weeks. And so it's really hard, whether it's those little spikes in the rhythm sections or you have a big case on a triple or whatever it is. It's hard to replicate those, but I think just being strong all around in your body and, you know, having the fitness to be able to move forward through the issues is the fitness and training side will always pull through.
I want to go back. I asked you a minute ago where we were talking about the fact that I didn't think you were going to race. How close did you come to saying, hey, I'm just not going to race, and like kind of being okay with that? Was there a point where you thought maybe there's not going to be any opportunity and it's time to figure out what the next step in life is?
Yeah, I was really close to just kind of pulling the plug, and I'm the last person to give up. Like, I will fight tooth and nail for whatever it takes, you know, to get what I want. But at the end of last year, you know, I kind of just like, I feel like coming into the season, I had more of a handle on it than I did. I thought I was more ready than I was. And then obviously results were nowhere near what I wanted them to be. So, you know, I don't think anybody would be telling you the truth if they said that they could go out there and get the results that they didn't want to have and still be able to push through it, you know?
Right.
Everyone wants to exceed those expectations and be way past those goals. So that really kind of, I guess, took me a few notches down. And then at the end of the season, you know, just a couple things fell apart, like, and it was hard for me to keep riding, you know, and I knew I wasn't going to race outdoors, so I kind of just took the summer off and recouped. And I actually was training a couple kids over the summer, and I think everyone loves to make money, right? So
yeah,
when I was making that money, it was kind of easier to say I'd rather make the money than go racing, you know. But if it wasn't for Julian giving me a call, I'm not sure I would have raced again this year. It's just so expensive, you know, like, and last season I had a lot of support, which I was super grateful for, from the Ty Lube team and Buddy. I was super thankful for the opportunities he gave me, but, you know, flying from California to the East Coast every weekend, it's me and my mom and my mechanic. Like, plane tickets are expensive, and
yes,
this
definitely.
rental cars and hotels, all of it adds up to a big bill that I don't want to have to pay. So
no, not if you're not going out there and getting the results and, you know, have money coming in from good results, and yeah, you're just basically throwing money away.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like I was doing, you know. And like I said, going back to the making money part, I wanted to make the money and not be tossing it away every weekend. So
right.
There was, you know, a little bit of money was kind of the driving factor, but
sure.
with Julian's support this year, we got a good program. And the biggest thing this year is I just wanted to give it another shot, with a real shot. I felt like last year I didn't quite get a real shot just because I had a couple injuries last year and some bike issues that kept me out for a week or two at a time. And, that, like I said, our training window is so short that all those weeks count. So I just want to this year I just wanted to give it 110% and see where I can end up, just to either prove to myself that I can or can't do it, which I believe wholeheartedly that I can go and be a top 10, top 15 guy every weekend.
Yeah, I like hearing that confidence, because you were touching on last season and the mental side of not meeting your expectations or your goals. And you kind of made it sound like, I realize I'm not meeting my goals. It's kind of a bummer. You almost don't want to go ride. And that could easily get into this hole where you don't get out of that, where you just like, I suck or I can't do, and
really easily. All it takes is, for me, all it took was, a couple practices. Like, in Minneapolis, I did my first qualifying practice, and I wasn't even in the night show. Like, I was not in the top 40.
Wow. Yeah. I think I remember that. I was there. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Like, me looking down, I came into the first round thinking, like, main event is what I wanted to be for my first one. And the result is the result. Like, I didn't really, whether it was a 5th or a 15th, like, I was going to be happy just to be in that main event. And to fall short by miles really, like, takes the wind out of your sails real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, yeah, like you were saying, that confidence fizzles out real quick. So by the time you get to round 3 or 4, there's, as much as you want to be mentally strong and, kind of, I guess, have a good attitude towards everyone that's around you, it's really hard to do that when you're falling short of what you want.
For sure. I'm glad to hear that you have the confidence back. That's great to hear. That has me excited.
Yeah, I've been feeling really good at the practice track and been putting in the work with all my teammates back at south of the border, and I'm ready to go. I can't wait for that first hometown race too, so that'll be a big boost for me, just in attitude, and getting to see all my family will be a big part of it also.
You learning anything from Cade?
Yeah, he's got a couple years on me, so
he's old, dude. He's
always giving me some pointers on the things I can do better, and
good.
He's always trying to help me. I think it's cool for, when I was on Geico, we had a lot of those guys that were older than me that were, kind of helping me out. A guy like Craig, or even when Dundee came in for that little bit, they see things that you would never really think of. So a guy like Cade can also help out with those things that you don't really think of or even know, really.
I don't know if I'd put Cade in the same sentence as learning things from Dungy and Craig, but I'm just busting on Cade a little bit because Cade's my boy.
No, either way though,
I
the older experience, like, even me and Natsuki have become really close. We live, I don't know, 3 or 4 doors down from each other at south of the border, so we're always hanging out. But
cool.
I've been, like, just trying to give him some pointers, just because when you have the 8 or 9 races that I did last year, and the practice, it's a lot more than a brand new guy has got. So for me to help out Josiah and for Cade to help out me, it's kind of the same. Like,
sure,
Cade has a lot of seasons under his belt and a lot of knowledge, so I appreciate all the help.
Yeah, and another thing on that is, you kind of talked about your journey of going through, like, not realizing your expectations and not doing what you think you're capable of. And Cade kind of went through that too. And, he's kind of bounced back from that and kind of redefined himself. So I feel like that definitely is a good thing for you to learn off from him,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like you said, was that build back. You know, he had a rough couple of years, but I think this year he's going to have a pretty solid year. And last year he had a good year also. So I think some good things will happen for him.
Same.
For sure. So one of the last things I wanted to ask you was, I've got your picture that you had on Instagram of you got a sweet whip going with the legs extending out.
The team photo.
Yeah, team photos. It's super sick. And I just wanted to, like, is that kind of doing something like that? Is that kind of a way for you to, like, break up the monotony of just grinding laps and laps after laps, or is that just kind of you feeling it and just going with the flow?
Yeah, like you said, just kind of a way to break out of the cycle. You know, you do a lot of laps on the same track throughout your training camp, and for me, you know, whether it's sometimes I hate to admit it, but sometimes those whips will come out like that just mid-moto, and I don't mean for the legs to come off or for the hands to come off, but, you know, it's almost like I know that I'm feeling good when those things start to happen naturally and you're not forcing it. So, but I think it's also good, you know, at the end of the day to do a couple laps, whether it's backwards on the track or doing some whips or whatever, just goofing off, you know, to kind of break out of the cycle and mix it up. And there's a lot more to riding. We're lucky enough to get to ride our motorcycles every day as our job. So I don't want to lose that fire for it.
Yeah, that's great. That's very true. I actually just had a long interview with Damon Bradshaw the other day, and he was talking about that very thing, that guys at the highest level a lot of times now don't just go have fun. So I like hearing that. My last question for you real quick. You talked about doing the 250 intro, the Kawasaki 250 intro for Kiefer, and the fact that there was a moment where you thought you might not go race. Looking ahead, is that something that you think would be a good position for you as a tester for a company like Kiefer Inc. or a OEM tester? Is that something that you would like to do as a profession if the race thing, you know, or when the race thing goes away?
Yeah, I think I have a lot to learn. We're going to be completely honest. I don't know. I know a good amount about the changes to make on the motorcycle, and now I'm learning a lot this year just on what I should do and the changes I should make. So I got a lot to learn, but I think it would be a really cool job to have, you know, as a test guy. And I did a lot of testing when I was younger, like on KTM 50s and 65s. I did a lot of their testing, and it was always something I kind of enjoyed. So I definitely think it would be a good job for me to have in the future, whether it's in the next couple of years or after my racing career is over. I would enjoy having that as a job.
Yeah, it's a good thing to know that you have in your back pocket.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, whether it's even, you know, just being having like a position on a team.
Yep.
Where you can just help other people or help yourself, you know, just being able to understand the motorcycle is always a positive, no matter what or where you are working.
Agreed. Hunter, man, thanks for jumping on here. It's been a while since we talked, so it was cool to have you on, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you when you get out here.
All right, buddy.
Good talking to you.
Yep, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that was Hunter Yoder. Take a commercial break. We'll be right back with Derek Kelley. Guys, our next guest of the night is going to be brought to you by X Brand Goggles. X Brand Goggles has been one of the leading goggle companies for top privateers and GNCC riders, as well as they're producing goggles for Alpine Stars, WUSA, the Club MX team with the factory ride goggles, and Roddy Mack, many others. Tonight, X Brand Goggles brings us our boy, Derek Kelley. What's up, DK?
What's up, guys?
Man, it's time to go racing again.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
So are we better than 13th this year?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so what's changed? What have we been working on? How's the new AEO bike? How are we feeling?
The new bike's awesome. I was kind of nervous getting on the new chassis from all the the rumors and the feedback from some of the other teams, but I'm honestly super stoked on the new chassis, and the new motor's even better than last year. So no, it's awesome, and we got the suspension set up great, and just couldn't ask for a better setup.
What's been the primary focus in your off season? Is there any fitness stuff? Is there something in particular with riding technique? Is there anything in particular that you're trying to do better? Starts maybe?
Yeah, starts are a big thing we've been working on. I've been working really hard on trying to be one of the best guys in the whoops this year. I think I made I was pretty good at them last year, but I feel like I really stepped up my game in the whoops this year. Just working on really everything. I mean, as you know, it's a full package. Like, you can't be good at one thing or you can't have a weak link in your program or you're really going to struggle. So,
yeah, I think with you, we always talk about this outdoor. Starts were a thing, right? If you got a good start, you can run up there, but starts were kind of your Achilles heel a lot. And I don't know how you really get better at that other than doing it over and over. Sometimes in my mind, there's always this little bit of, it's just reaction time. And some people's mind works a little faster than others. And if you just don't have that, then you might not ever be able to get that extra 1/10 of a second.
Definitely. Yeah, no, reaction time's a huge part of it, but another part of it is the first 5 to 10 feet. Mm-hmm. Like, if you come out of that gate and you're not driving forward, then it doesn't really matter how fast you can dump the clutch. You know what I mean? Like, if you pop a wheelie or you drag the clutch too long, you're a wheel behind, and then at that point you're pretty much closed off. So, on really my drive out of the gate and just getting used to starting off a grade again, because the outdoors obviously is a dirt start still. So
yeah.
Derek, so a little bit I've talked to you in the past. You kind of seem like you're more of the, I'm just going to put in my work and then do my best, and when I get there, whatever where I'm at, it's where I'm at, and I'm just going to kind of we'll go with that. But all that being said, is top 5 one of your goals that you're looking at this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, I don't like to say, I'm going to get this place or that place, mm-hmm. but I'm really shooting for trying to be a top 5 guy all year. And if some things happen, like we've seen some races last year where there's 3 or 4 of the top guys are out in a race, and maybe I could sneak in there for a podium if all the things come together. I mean, obviously you got to transfer the weekday riding. I'm feeling really good speed wise. I just really got to work on my consistency and when it comes to racing, thankfully I've had the chance these last couple, the gas guys kind of jumping in and motoring with them. And that's seeming to help me with that race mentality. And I just gotta bring it to the race.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. Having those battles during practice, having somebody to go battle with, more of a race scenario is very important.
Yeah, no, and it's tough. You take a couple months off from racing and then to hop right back into it. It sometimes it's taken me a couple rounds to kind of work up to speed and then start battling with those guys. I just got to get used to that, chasing somebody, not only chasing them down and ride my own race, but then when somebody's on my butt, I need to be able to click up another gear and really focus on myself and not get distracted in what they're doing.
Yeah, during that off-season races that should help you continue your racecraft, the World Supercross stuff didn't really give you a whole lot of help. Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't anything like AMA racing, if that makes any sense. It was a little bit of demolition derby racing.
Right.
And I mean, I got some practice trading paint if that plays for anything or plays a factor in that. Obviously, bumping's racing, but that was a whole nother level.
That's what I heard, man. Yeah, it's unfortunate it didn't go any better because, yeah, it would have been fun to take the Hep Suzuki over there. And I know you didn't have much time on that bike anyway. I don't think you had hardly any time on that bike. So
no, I had 2 days on it, and it was set up for somebody else. So, I did pretty well considering, but no, it was my bike came back with all kinds of colors on it.
Well, Derek, the reason I said that is because I personally think that you're capable of it. I've seen the way that you've rode in mains and stuff, and I think you can. So that's the reason I asked that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of moving on a little bit. Do you do you see yourself in any? What would it take for you to be able to do maybe a couple of 450s when you're on the
in
opposite
Supercross?
coast? Yeah, on the opposite coast.
With the team I'm on right now, we haven't really discussed that, and I don't think they're really looking to get into having me doing any 450s just yet. I don't think they're in a position as far as their budget and or like their sponsors stuff goes. I think I would have to do it on my own if I were to do that, and depending on how my season's going in the West Coast, I don't think that I'm really going to be interested in doing that just yet.
Right. It would cost a fortune for you as a privateer to go do an East Coast Supercross by yourself.
Yeah, and I don't know what I would really gain from that.
Right.
Unless I like other than just the experience with the 20 lap or 20-minute main.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in a position like top 5 in the series or top 6 or 7 moving on top 5, there's no way I'm going to risk going and doing that.
Of course.
But maybe if I'm looking in these next couple of years, like thinking about moving up or whatever, I might dabble in that.
Okay. How are you feeling, man? I had heard that you might have thought you had hurt your knee a little bit early on in the off season. Everything good?
Oh yeah, I actually dabbed it pretty bad before the Cardiff round.
Oh, okay.
I had to get
after.
I had to get it drained and everything like that. But honestly, I'm back to normal now.
Nothing too serious. Good.
Yeah.
You mentioned the team and the budget, and AEO Power Sports is a somewhat new. I don't know if we call them privateer team. I'm going to call it a privateer team. And every year, Jeremy tries to up the game and get a little more support. And we've seen that last year was a little better than the year before. This year, a little more support. What are you seeing within the team structure that gets you excited?
No, Jeremy's been busting his butt and trying to provide everything he can for me and Josh and just trying to grow the team. Like I couldn't ask for more as far as effort goes from Jeremy. We've made some changes within the team that I think are really going to be good for cohesion and just team atmosphere stuff. That's going to be awesome for next year. Mm-hmm. Like other than him, like I just got to go out and perform for him so that he can get more sponsors. Like there's nothing that he could do more as far as trying to do his best and putting his own money into it and just, like you said, just trying to make it a better team for everybody.
How regulated are you on components? I think last year I want to say there were some triple clamp changes. Like, are you pretty much locked into what you have to use, or are you able, not necessarily just triple clamps, but in general, things that you feel more comfortable on? Are you able to pick and choose some things?
No, I mean we have certain companies that we run for obviously triple clamps. I think we're with X-Trig again this year, and obviously our EP suspension is like what we're in-house suspension basically. So yep. We're locked in as far as parts go, but they're really open with me setting up the bike how I need to, whether that's an offset change or we were messing with some races change, like the bearing races. We were doing a little testing with that, and we were really just trying to set up the bike for me with the equipment and the parts we have. And if I have a problem during the week, we go back out and they sit down with me and talk to what I want to change, and we look at our options as far as that goes. Like I'm not locked in. Like I have all the stuff that's on the bike is good stuff. Like if that's what you're asking, like I'm not locked into running some weird pegs or weird bars or something like that. Everything's really, really dialed.
As far as testing and training during the week, where are you normally riding? Do you have a lot of options, or are you kind of one of those guys that you have to go to, like, I don't know, Glen Helen's track or whoever, whatever local Supercross track? Yeah,
we definitely, as far as public tracks go, we lost basically 2 this year in the Southern California area. So State Fair went away, and then Elsinore's kind of cut back to almost private sessions, if not, like, it's definitely not a scheduled session with Elsinore. And then but we have a really good facility. Like my dad, I think we talked about it, we have a Supercross track in Menifee that we have a few different teams partnered with us this year, and we did a full rebuild, and our track is literally to spec. Like it's the best practice track that you can get.
Nice.
Yeah, so our training situation is really good. Paula stepped up their game this year. I mean, obviously the dirt composition is a little sandy and rocky, but the layout and the way the jumps are built are about as good as you can get for a public track. And no, I mean, the riding situations, it is what it is. Like, you got to work with what you got.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I'm getting the best training I've gotten, especially with the track that we had built.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek. So on actual race day, do you kind of find yourself more of like, oh, this day's taking forever, I can't wait to get to the main event, or do you kind of more on the other side where it's like, oh, boom, all of a sudden the day's gone? Like, how does the day go for you?
It changes weekend to weekend. I think some days drag on, and then some days it feels like it ran through. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with how your day's going. If it's going good, then it seems to click along really good. But if you struggle in free practice and then struggle in the qualifying, like, it's going to be a long day for you. So I think it's just kind of a mood thing.
Josh did have a little bit of an injury. I think he's back on the bike now, maybe just within the last week or so. How's he doing?
No, I'm super impressed with how fast he's came back. He actually, I think he had to take off 6 or 8 weeks with a thumb injury. So he ended up breaking his thumb from a freak crash out at our track, and he had to get it casted. And he took one day of kind of taking it easy, and then he's back to jumping everything, and obviously he's just taking it easy and slowly working back up to speed. But for how long he took off, and I think he's only been on the bike 4 times on Supercross so far. So he's looking really good.
Good to hear. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. You know, and I'm staying in the Menifee area, so does that mean I can come ride your Supercross track? I'll be there. You know, I'm bringing my Husky 350. I mean, can I make some laps?
Yeah, I mean, we got a corner track set up. It's almost like a miniature outdoor track. So if you want to bring your bike, you can come spin some laps. And
so
if you want to send it through the whoops, I'll video it.
Yeah, so I can't get on the Supercross track and show you the slow way around?
You can try.
No, I don't want to.
How close is the closest hospital to you?
Yeah.
It's actually right down the road.
There you go, man.
Emergency room, so.
Sweet, yeah.
Wide open.
I may come out and watch. I will not set foot on a Supercross track. Nope, I'm out. But anyway, that's cool. Yeah, but I'm glad to hear that you said earlier on that the bike, you know, I was kind of curious about that bike, right? We've heard, as you said, the stories and the comments, and it still seems like the guys were struggling a little bit in the whoops, but you sound like you're good.
No, I mean, as far as how the bike handles in the whoops, I don't necessarily feel it's much different than the other bike in the whoops. Like, I was expecting it's definitely a little more front weighted. So we set up the bike to have a pretty stiff fork and whatnot. Like, obviously I don't know the inner workings of the suspension, but we kind of, from the first day that I rode the bike to our test day, we took a lot of weight off the front, so it kind of drives through the whoops a little bit better. But no, I mean, it feels really good everywhere else. The chassis is a little bit more square. Like, I was struggling when the bike got up in hours. Like, it kind of felt like a noodle under me with last year's bike. Okay. Me being a bigger rider and whatnot. But this year the bike feels really solid in the transitions and just pushing through stuff.
Yeah, I don't. It's so interesting when you guys say stuff like that, because I'm riding a 23 Husky, but I don't feel any of that crap you guys talk about. Like, oh, it's this or that. I'm like, no, it just feels like a motorcycle to me, man. It's absolutely my favorite motorcycle I've ever ridden in my entire life. I can tell you that.
Does it feel like it turns a little? I mean, I don't know how much time you spent on the older model, but I feel like the bike is so much more stable in the corners.
So, I haven't rode any of the older bikes. The 23 is the first one I've really I rode like a 16 KTM, and I couldn't even tell you how that compared. So I can't compare that. I just know when I get on that bike, I feel like I can put it anywhere I want it.
No, it's and you hear that about people that ride the OEMs. Like, the only complaints you hear probably from the top level guys,
exactly.
whether that's for setup or whatnot. But everybody that I've heard that's ridden them at the intro, the test ride, love them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in love with the 350 just in general. That's I wish every OEM would make one, because that's the only bike I want to ride.
No, and there's nothing like it for sure. Like, it's not a 250, and it's definitely not a 450. It's almost like, obviously it's in between.
It's right in between there, Derek. Very, very clever of him. That's funny.
We're going to get a Nobel Peace Prize on this show.
we're all geniuses here.
Geniuses.
Go ahead.
So did you get, you kind of talked about Varese being injured, so that probably had a lot I'm sorry.
Start over.
Probably defined it a lot, but did you have any choice on your coast for this year?
No, we're a West Coast team. They're based
okay. I didn't.
They're based out of Temecula, the race team, and then Jeremy has shops in Glendale and Arizona. So no, we're a West Coast team. So like we don't get a choice.
I knew
in
that.
matter.
I was just.
Yeah, they do the outdoors, but or they have been doing the outdoors, but just West Coast Supercross. Well, Derek, how's your brother doing, man? Is he going to continue trying to work for Vital and shoot? And we're going to have problems with him this year.
Well, I'm sure you'll have problems with him, but I think he's locked in with Vital.
Yeah.
I think he's full on with them now. Like I think he was in a probation period there for like 90 days or whatnot. But no, I think he's full with Vital, and I think he's trying to come to a lot of the races.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool to have him there.
I don't know, man. He and I bicker back and forth about technology, and he's like, "You need to do this. You need to stream your music. He's making fun of me for using an iPod, and I was like, "I'm not having it, man."
My brother's kind of a bully, so you can just punch him in the face.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad that I got your permission for that. I liked after Straight Rhythm. Did you watch the Weed Show?
I mean, I'm horrible with that kind of stuff. Like, I don't really watch a lot of that.
Weeds was walking through the pits, and he saw Dylan, but you could tell that he wasn't sure if it was Dylan or you.
Yeah.
So his reaction was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And then just like, I texted him right after I watched it. I was like, "You didn't know if that was Dylan or Derek, did you?" And he goes, "I wasn't sure." It was so funny. Yeah, he looks a little bit like.
No, we look just enough alike that people kind of get us mixed up, especially from a distance.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty funny. I didn't know if you'd seen that, but man, well. Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate the check-in. I'm glad you're ready to go, and we're a week and a half away, man. So let's get that top. I want to see you top 7 at A1.
All right. Well, I hope to be at least there.
Okay, that's what I'm expecting out of my guy.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We've been a little slow in this off season, so yeah, we've just been kind of. I almost didn't do this show. We weren't supposed to have a show this week. It was very last minute, so.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you in Menifee. Hopefully you stop by the track.
Yeah, we'll come by, man. Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, brother.
All right,
talk to you later.
Thanks to Derek Kelley for jumping on, as he always does when I ask. We're going to take another commercial break. We will be back with Brandon Hart-Raft. Our next guest of the night is going to be brought to you by Fly Racing, which has been developing and innovating its gear line since 1998. Fly Racing innovated the helmet game with their Formula helmet a couple years ago, and you can still check them out today at all the WPS dealerships across the nation. Fly Racing, distributed through WPS. Tonight, Fly Racing brings us our buddy Brandon Hartranft. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Man, how you guys doing?
Well, we're doing good, and this is one of those interviews. I'm going to tell you right now, it's awkward, man. We know what you've been through, and it's gut-wrenching, and it's like it's hard to talk about a little bit. So how are you feeling today?
Just a lot of emotions and a lot of soreness. It's at this point, waking up every day, it's just a routine of being sore. So, it's a little bit tougher than what people think, but I mean, I guess it's part of it. We all sign up for it, but definitely have a lot of time just sitting here, every day on the couch. So mentally at times, definitely pretty tough. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, not only are you in a lot of physical pain and discomfort and a long road of rehab ahead of you, and that can't be fun in itself. And then just, the mental side of
today was pretty, kind of a bummer. Just, I have to get so many CT scans on like my shoulder, my back, my hip. And then out here in California is not making that easy with, not being able to get me in. And like I might possibly need shoulder surgery.
Oh, wow.
And it's just ongoing. And then we go to Pomona, California, which is where my therapy's at. And that's about 45 minutes from us without traffic. Jeez. And then I go there and they just kind of we don't really get shit done today. And it's just like, you're just scratching your head like, this is miserable at times. So people don't get it. You think they just, you just heal and whatever. Like I destroyed my body and there's consequences to that, and sounds like I might need surgery on some stuff, so more surgery. So well,
I think I have a list of your injuries here from social media post you made. L1, L2 end plate fractures, L3, L4 transverse process fractures, L1, L3 spinous process fractures, left hip dislocation, right rib fractures 5 through 7, right scapular fracture, and
there's actually 3 more breaks that
oh
we
Jesus
found in my shoulder.
Wow. And then you had the
and then
pneumothorax.
people don't even know I was knocked out for like 5 minutes, man. So like that's a long time. I'm still feeling that actually a lot, especially when I go outside. My brain is just I just feel like I'm buzzed. So it's,
a little brain fog.
It's, it's just the process every day of just, waking up and I don't know, trying to get better.
Yeah, the mental side, is there anything, do you have, I mean, I know you have your wife, Madison, with you, but do you have you looked into any professional help just for the mental side? I feel like that's something that you probably, you're going to want to talk to somebody, I would assume. It's going to be a long.
I'm pretty stoked, and we're moving back to New Jersey, and that's where that's where I'm from, and I'm moving back with my family, and I'm so freaking happy to do that. You have no idea. Personally, I don't really, California is not, I don't really like California. So going home, I'm so freaking stoked to go home, honestly.
Yeah,
so that's going to help. That's going to help me out a lot.
Having family around and more people, I'm sure and I want to get Madison on in a second. I'm sure there's so much on her shoulders, and you guys are newlyweds. I mean, it's Jesus, like
she got kind of sick from it.
I bet.
Yeah, I remember when I first crashed, then she took a flight straight to me, and then when she saw me laying there, and I mean, I was so drugged up, but I guess I was telling her like, calm down, it's okay, because she was about to faint. So seeing me laid up, but it's just as it's quite tough on her, not just me, it's tough on her as well. So
yeah, it's literally life changing.
Yeah, I got I don't think people realize how lucky I got from not being paralyzed. Like I literally pinched my spinal cord and slid it a little bit. So people don't get it. They just think broken back, like whatever. And like, I still don't know I still don't know everything about my spine yet. Like when they put it back together, they still it wasn't straight, and they put all this hardware in there. They fused my back. Like we still don't know anything, like the whole, like what's truly wrong. So
right. It'll be months.
Can't really give you an answer on that one.
Yeah, it could be months, maybe years before you really know the full extent.
Yeah, it's I got told never ride again. I got told I can ride in a year. It's just like, I have no clue, because like I said, we still got to go to a neurosurgeon, and we got to get a CT scan, and then go to a neurosurgeon, and then kind of go from there, and then I got to work on my shoulder, and then maybe my hip. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would think, I know as a racer and somebody that loves to ride motorcycles, that is in the back of your mind, but probably putting the possibility of riding ever again, and if you could put that away, that would help. I don't know how you actually do that.
Like, I don't know. There's times where I'm just thinking, like, I've been riding since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So, like, outside of this life, I don't know a damn thing.
I understand. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, Brandon, so you mentioned that, you were knocked out for a few minutes, and then I'm sure, like you said, you were drugged up, and I'm sure you were in and out of surgeries and all that. What was, like, the first clear thought that you remember having?
Like, I can, I mean, like, I was knocked out, and then I'm so glad I honestly got knocked out, because I didn't even feel the pain until, like, when my hip was out, my back, like, I guess my practice mechanic said I was freaking out about my hip. Then I tried getting up. Like, you got to think, I was so knocked out and concussed. Like, I don't remember anything. I don't remember the pain. I just remember getting in the hospital, and then my back, like, killing me, and I was freaking out about it to give me medicine. And they couldn't give me medicine because my blood pressure was so low, because I was, trauma. And that's kind of the first thing I remember. And then the second thing was her coming in and about fainting.
Yeah. How quick did she get to you? Were you already in the hospital when she got there?
I have no. She's right here. That's the question.
Well, I'll get her on here. Oh, go ahead.
So I was actually up in LA picking up one of my girlfriends that flew in from Alabama from Thanksgiving, And I got the call from Dustin that Brandon had a crash, but nobody knew how severe it was. So I was like, do I need to fly up there? And he was like, yeah, maybe. So then I immediately booked a flight out of Orange County, but I had to fly to, I want to say it was San Francisco for an hour layover, and then I flew into Fresno. So it took me about 6 hours to get there.
Jeez,
so
yeah.
by that time,
I don't remember any of that.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, I was
well, Madison,
getting text on the plane that Brandon had all these broken things, not just his hip or his shoulder, what we originally thought. Then I'm getting told by the surgeon that Brandon needs to go in and have back surgery. So that totally just spooked me on my flight. I just started screaming, crying.
Oh, I bet.
I was flying up there thinking, oh, it's a popped out hip. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, that's well, Madison, I'm going to get you on here in a second. I'm going to actually get some more of your thoughts on that. I want to get back into that. Let me,
okay.
Yeah, let me wrap up a little bit more with Brandon. But yeah, and I know you had the punctured lung and the chest tube. That's always fun. But I feel like with all your other injuries, that was probably like the least of the discomforts almost.
It's pretty weird. Like when I first got hurt, it's strictly back. And then a week and a half goes by and then my hip's starting to hurt all of a sudden. And then it transferred to my ribs. And then now that I'm home, my shoulder, like, it's just weird. Like 1 week it's one thing and then the next week it's another. It's just like everybody's like, oh, hit me up. How's your hip? And I'm like, dude, what are you guys talking about? I think it's perfectly fine. And then the next week comes by and I'm like, holy shit, my hip's bad. So yeah, it was just weird how all the injuries, like, it just took my body maybe to settle in to understand, like, you actually have other injuries. I don't know. Right. Yeah. The trauma. I mean, it's really science. The science of how the body works. Obviously, we don't know. It's just weird. Yeah. Like I'm like, my shoulder. I'm like, oh, dude, who gives a shit about my shoulder? That's the weakest injury. And then now that I'm like, my body's coherent on all these other injuries, my shoulder, like, if I move it in a weird spot, it feels like it's going to snap. It's like, and it's no exaggeration. Like, it hurts like hell if I move it wrong. So it's just weird how the body works, like you were saying. Yeah, and going back to I was asking about the chest tube a little bit. I've had a couple punctured lungs and chest tubes. I assume you were either out or I was pretty doped up when they put that in. I'm glad I was out. Yeah. Looking at this scar, I'm like, it looked like I got shanked. Right, yeah. I've got one on each side, and I was unconscious for the first one. The second one, I didn't think I had a collapsed lung. I literally thought I had broke my elbow. And I was I thought it was my elbow, and I was like, yeah, I'm struggling to breathe a little bit. And they did x-rays, and they came in and said, no, your clavicle and your scapula is broke. And I was like, no, dude, look, I'm moving my arm all over. I'm good. It's just my elbow. And he goes, no, it's your collarbone. And you also have a pneumothorax. I was like, well, what does that mean? Well, you have a collapsed lung. So they literally numbed me right there and cut me open and shoved that thing through the ribs. And it was... Were you awake for it? I was awake, but I was numbed. So it didn't really hurt. That's scary as hell. It didn't really hurt like I thought it would, but it was the awkwardest feeling when that piece of plastic or whatever goes through your ribs. I bet. I'm glad I was sleeping for it. Yeah, well, you had to deal with a whole lot worse. So, I mean, that would, anyway. Talk about that's funny because I remember, did you have to do this? Did you use that little toy to breathe? Yes, where you have to keep it at a certain level until they... You got to keep it in the smiley face or something. So yes. The lady's like, they're like, so like urgent to rip the tube out. And I'm like, all right, like this is going to hurt like a motherfucker. God knows. Like, I'm like, the tube's blood red. So I'm like, yeah, all right. And the lady's like, I want you to inhale and then exhale, and I'm gonna pull on it. And I'm thinking like she's just gonna do like little by little. No. And as soon as I exhaled, she ripped the whole thing out, and I was just like, what? Yeah. I don't remember the first one coming out. That was back in like 94 or 5, and I don't remember it at all. The second one, I remember it coming out because it was infected. They didn't clean it. Oh, God. And I didn't know that they were supposed to change the bandages, but they never changed the bandage. So I just figured, well, they know what they're doing. And it was disgusting. When it came out. Like my girlfriend at the time was filming it. She's like, oh, this is not good. It was really disgusting. But anyway,
Talk about the industry, man. The people reaching out, Road to Recovery. They hooked you up with some help with the airplane, which I think probably made the process better.
Oh my God, that made life so much easier. It was either a 6-hour ambulance ride or that. And I literally, when we hopped in the ambulance, well, I didn't hop in it, but they put me on a stretch. The whole thing like carted me to it, and we drove from the hospital to the airport. That was like 10-minute drive, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I could have done
4 hours,
6 hours. So Road to Recovery has absolutely crushed it. And for like, Mike Young is truly a gentleman, so I can't thank that dude enough. And the whole industry, it's crazy, and to me it's a little mind-blowing how everybody's been so awesome towards me and really, really trying to help. I've never seen anything like it. So it's pretty tough because, like, as a moto guy that's pro, like, you don't want to really pay attention to somebody that gets hurt. And the Road to Recovery people are way more crucial than what people think when they get hurt. So those people are doing an awesome job.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all that, and I was really happy that you were able to get that help from those guys. And of course, this industry,
even like
go ahead.
Ethica, I can't believe Ethica stepped in to do that for me. For me to have, like, honest to God, everybody's like, that's so awesome to have, them to do that for you. And I'm like, dude, for me to be on my own underwear, I'm like mind blown right now.
Dude, I'm so mad. I didn't see the advertisement until they were gone. I was so mad because I am definitely an Ethica guy.
Oh, it's so badass what they did. And then same with SKDA. One of my buddies from home is named Corey McFadden, used to help me racing, and then Dirt Bike Depot and the custom outfits guys. Like, I literally, like, he's raffling off that trailer, but I want that trailer. That thing is so sick.
Well, that'd be cool. Maybe somebody will buy it and then they'll give it to you like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I just can't believe how much people are stepping up for me. It's, I can't even. I want to like help and like give back, but they don't want me to, and it's just like I don't even know what to do.
Dude, you just need to worry about yourself. Yeah. You've always been one of those guys, man, that I love in the pits, and like you always have time for us and give back in that way. So I respect that you want to do something like that, but yeah, that needs to be not your concern right now. Take care of yourself. I am mad that I missed out on the boxers though, because I would definitely. It'd be weird having you on my junk, but I'd wear them.
Hey, you know how many people have literally like, oh, my dick's gonna be by your head, and I'm like, I'm gonna be like, well, if your dick even reaches, bud.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, dude, see, that's good that you still have a little bit of sense of humor. You could very easily be in a very dark place right now, and again, long recovery coming. But I think you're a guy that has. You seem to be very strong mentally, and it's good to hear you laughing, man. I love that.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I agree. I definitely could be making this a lot worse, but being home I got let out early before Christmas because I was supposed to get discharged the 28th. They let me out like a few days before Christmas, and that helped a lot just to be home and kind of get out of that place. I called it like a little. You're like a rat lab, kind of like. In the rehab center, they literally just pump you with meds, and you just sit there and just you're kind of depressed. So was stoked to get home early, and then my parents and wife and family have been truly helped me so much, just trying to make sure I'm okay, and then just trying to get me home. And we gotta pack a house up and move back home, which is gonna be tough. But everybody, from Madison's family to my family, they're all working together to get us home. So
great to hear.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's been so many great people helping us and a lot of good people in my corner.
It really is a good industry. It really is a very good industry. It's tight knit. You can say what you want. There's haters and there's these issues here and there, and there's some a-holes, but in the end, everybody cares.
Yeah, it's literally like I haven't even ever I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. You mentioned how you were you felt like kind of like a lab rat where they were just all the different medicines and stuff. Do you kind of, now that you're getting through the recovery process, do you kind of have a plan on how to, you know, we've seen it happen in our sport so many times where pills become a problem, you know, when in that recovery. But you have so much going on that you like it's literally
your
impossible.
body eventually needs it.
Yeah, you're gonna
Or
have to have it at this point. But do you kind of have like a plan or, you know, a mindset of where you want to be at a certain time with that kind of medicine and stuff?
So, I crushed my insides, and which caused me to not being able to pee or poop. And like right now, I'm taking so many medications for me to literally drop a turd. It's I don't know, man. It's miserable at times, and I'm taking so many medications for it. And I honestly have leaned off the pain pills a lot. I take one at night. They're oxys, which I didn't realize they actually helped as much as they did. But I think that oxy, if I eventually stop taking that stuff, I'll be able to poop better. But
Yep.
yeah, I've been taking we counted at the nurse, like they're giving me like 13 pills 3 times a day. So my body's just going through a freaking loop right now. So I've been pretty good about it. My dad's freaking gnarly about pills, so he will for sure. If I ever somehow get in that position, my dad will probably snap me out of it.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I know with all the internal stuff and the trauma to the body that it does start to shut down certain areas, like you said, bathroom issues, whatever. And it's there's things that are going to take time, and you have to hope that it all figures itself out.
Yeah, it's so miserable dealing with this stomach stuff. Like my stomach will be absolutely killing me. Like I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm gotta literally just have diarrhea, and then I go and try and poop, and nothing comes out, and it's just like, and it's an everyday process for the last month. It's been even peeing was so bad there for a bit, but I got that down, kind of figured out, and then pooping just has its own mind of its own, is what it seems like.
Are you having to use a catheter?
So at first, when I was in the ICU, they had a catheter for about a week. They took it off, could not pee at all. So then they put it back in. We transported to the Casa Colina rehab center, and then I could not pee still. And then I had, doctors and nurses putting catheter in and out of me. And then I had Madison. At this one point, like, I hit this button for the nurse to come do it, and they took too long. And I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, this is hurting way too much. So I said, Madison, you're doing it. She did it. I mean, it's pretty freaking easy, but we cathetered myself maybe like 20 times.
Oof.
And honestly, like, maybe because I was on some pills, but like, once you get the hang of it, like, it's not, I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not too bad. Like, once you get past, so when the catheter goes in, it's like whatever. And then once it hits this spot, it starts burning real bad. Ugh. And once you push through that, then you start peeing.
Dude.
So I just told myself every time, once you hit that spot, just push through it, and then you're fine. And then pulling out, pretty freaky, but it don't hurt.
I think I'd rather have a chest tube.
I mean, to be honest, like, watching this freaking thing go down your pee hole, it's like,
yeah.
I told myself while I was racing, I'm like, listen, I will never have a catheter. I will never do any of this stuff. And then turns out I freaking do it all in one time.
Damn, dude. Oh, well, dude, let me talk to Madison for a minute.
Oh, she's right here.
All right.
All right, I'm on here.
Well, Madison, I can't even imagine, as a new wife, first of all, congratulations, Madison Hart-Raft.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine what's going through your mind. I mean, you had to be terrified. I'm sure similar to probably what his mom and dad were worried about, and being so far away, you feel helpless.
Yeah, I mean, you sit there and you see him so defenseless. Like, that's all he's known his whole life. And ever since we've been together, I used to race too. So I get, like, when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. But to see it just ripped away from him so fast. But he's, like, so strong about it. So it definitely helps whenever he's got, like, a good attitude. And we have so many good people in our corner checking on us, asking if we need anything. How can I help? So at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind that if he does not come back racing, he's going to be good at whatever he does.
Yeah, I love that you have that support of him like that. That's beautiful to hear. And I can't imagine what you're going through. Like I said, and you know, he talked about the bathroom issues. I'm sure you're having to help, which, you know, really nobody wants to have to do that.
I mean, the first like 3 weeks I had to wipe Brandon's butt. I mean, and he is so weird about, you know, that kind of stuff. Like,
who is it?
He's got stage fright when he goes pee. Like, you can't even be in the same room as him. Even if the door's shut, he don't want you in there.
That's
so
funny.
It's like so crazy how life can change at the drop of a hat. I mean, he was like, "You're going too far right, wiping my butt. You're going too far left." I know this is funny to talk about, but you got to find
that's good.
the good and the bad of
Yeah,
every
of
situation. But it's just crazy how life just changes so fast. And yeah, I was wiping his butt for like 3 weeks and cathering him myself. So it's definitely a crazy way to break in a marriage. I mean, everybody keeps saying, if you can get through this, you can get through anything.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, you guys have been together. I feel like I've been doing this stuff for maybe 5 years. I feel like you guys have been together at least that long, right?
Yeah, we're going on 8 years together.
Okay. So yeah, you stuck through some hard times anyway, but this is definitely a hell of a test. And
Yeah.
I have to just tell you how impressed
And
I am.
also, like the brain injury that he's dealing with, he's going to speech. I mean, he's learning, like he's forgetful of things. And that's also been another hard spot and his family can tell you the same thing, is he gets so uptight and snaps like so fast and then says, you know, hurtful things. And then 5 minutes later, he's sad because he didn't mean to say it, but it just happens. And I mean, obviously I know what I'm dealing with because I've spoke to all the doctors and they basically told me, like, you're going to deal with this. And this is something that'll heal itself, but with time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of mental stuff that, you know, not only with his injuries, but you're dealing with the other side of things too, of the brain injury.
Yeah.
And
the whole body has been shocked and gone through trauma. It's crazy.
yeah, I mean, our world is literally turned upside down,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, I didn't expect to be in this position. I mean, I thought Brandon was going racing A1. We were excited and thought this was going to be his best year yet. He was coming home from Fresno. He was going up there and riding a few days a week with Dustin. They've got like a whole new setup, and he would come home telling me how great he's doing. And
That's what I was hearing.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hearing how good he was looking. So yeah, it's crazy what life
But
puts in front of you.
in the end of the day, I think everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to keep living by that. And I know we'll be good no matter what happens with his career down the road.
Of course.
Yeah, Madison, that was one of the points that I was going to make to you guys. It wasn't even really going to be a question. Just, you know, 15, 20 years from now, you'll look at this and you know, that'll be we got through that. So, you know, and it's like you said, everything happens for a reason, and you're going to grow from it, and it's tough now, but it shows you who really cares about you on the, you know, around the support, and you know, it kind of puts everything in perspective. And like I said, 15 years down the road, you'll almost look at it as kind of almost like not necessarily a blessing, but it'll be like, well, we did that, so you know, we can make it through anything.
Exactly. No, I definitely think it's going to bring us closer together as a couple. Not that we weren't already, but I already feel like it's bringing us closer together. And like I said, I think he'll come back stronger.
Yeah. Madison, is there anything, you know, I know Road to Recovery and the industry is trying to help out, or is there anything that you need help with, anything you guys can use that people need to know about?
Not that I know. Like most of our friends in California, we have a pretty good group around us. They're all stepping up, like wanting to come help our house pack it all up, because obviously the movers will come in and move the big stuff, but just keep us in your prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate this, but I have to say, you know, that if I'm looking at a positive, not that there's really a positive, it is that, like, seeing that what you're doing to help your husband, and the not everybody would stand by. Like, I think a weaker relationship, they'd be like, oh, I can't deal with this, right? And you're
1000%.
Yeah, so it's
I've watched girls in this industry walk away, not with necessarily this type of injury, but with just even a small injury.
Sure. So I have to say it's very, because I'll be honest, that was one of the first things I thought. I was like, wow, they just got married. Madison probably wasn't prepared for this, you know, like.
Yeah, and not only remember, Brandon just had ankle surgery, and I didn't even think he was going to be able to walk down the aisle at our wedding.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, I mean, the last few months have been like a whirlwind, and then we get married. We had a beautiful wedding. We had a huge turnout, like more than we would expect. And then we went on a beautiful honeymoon to another island in Hawaii. And I'm just so thankful we at least got through that, because we were literally talking. We were walking into Casa Colina today for his therapy. I'm like, thank God we already got married. He was
Right.
like, yeah, or there wouldn't have been a wedding.
No kidding. Well, I'm very impressed with you, Madison, and I think it's really a beautiful thing considering the circumstances. So,
Yeah, thank you guys so much for checking in and
yeah, of course.
keeping us in your prayers, and maybe we'll see you guys back on the track or around the track someday soon.
We'll definitely see you around at some point. I believe he'll be back at the races. Even if he doesn't get to race again, he's going to be around. I fully believe that. But, yeah, let me holler at Brandon again for just a moment. Madison's really great talking to you, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Brandon, before I let you go, you were in the Fly Formula helmet. How
that thing, I mean, that thing did its job. I mean, at least I think I did. I think that helmet was so good. I was actually gonna say something because you were like, "Oh, Fly Racing," something when I was about to get on. And
they're
dude,
sponsoring
the Fly helmet that thing's good. I mean, when I put that helmet on, compared to our other helmet, I was like, dude, this thing is the real deal. Like, it suctions to my head. It's like very, very strong, I feel like, and then it's got like these cushiony things to absorb your impact. And yeah, I thought it was legit.
Yeah, those are called rayon, I believe, is what they call that.
Whatever that blue thing.
Yeah,
was,
that's the rayon
stuff.
Yeah, or rayon or rayon. But yeah, I'm literally looking at 5 of them in front of me. That's what I wear. Well, I'm actually wearing the 6D also now because they are going to be a sponsor of the show next year, and I trust that helmet.
Those are good helmets too.
Yeah, I trust the Formula and the 6D over any other helmet. And yeah, I'm glad that you had that on your head. I know what you were wearing before. We won't have to bring it up, but
yeah, I'm not gonna bring it up. But God knows, man.
Yeah.
If I was in that, I don't like. If I was in the other helmet, don't know what the case would be. So, I crushed the Fly helmet. Like I smashed the shit out of it. So it did its job, I'd say. I didn't really think about it, but I also didn't really care. Like I posted it, and I didn't know if Fly got mad, but like. I feel like I had every right to post whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. It did its job, and that's the same helmet.
No, and I didn't put that in there like, oh, like the thank God we were in a Fly. But
right.
I mean, if people took that the wrong way, they should, because that helmet was honestly like first time I put it on, I was like, this thing's good. So.
Oh yeah, it's the same helmet that Weston was wearing when he had his issue in Paris. Which I mean, his face got destroyed, but had he been anything else, who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, he got so freaking. That was a shitty deal because the rear wheel landed where his goggles were, right?
Something. I thought it was the frame, but he basically his head got crushed.
I don't really know the story. That was bad, man. Too. Jesus. Yeah. Dirt bikes, man.
Yes. Right. Yeah, it's a scary thing we do out of our passion to go. But man, Brandon, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear you in good spirits, and I'm sure you're going to have some moments where you're down, but I love hearing that you are up right now and that your friends and everybody, your family are surrounding you with the love and the compassion they need. And man, if you ever need anything that we can help with, I'd love to help out. I'm a big fan of yours. I've always enjoyed talking to you, and
I'll never forget when I did that interview for the top 8. You asked me a question. So
SLC Salt Lake City was that last year?
Yeah, because that's a moment of my life that I will just being up there with them guys, and obviously you asked me a question, so I'll never forget what the question was and stuff like that. So I appreciate you being a supporter.
Yeah, man, I like you, dude. You're a good person, and that's it's funny when I get done with these interviews. I always my co-host here, Scotty, I goes, man, he's a good dude, and that's what I always take away from certain people is just I don't care how good you are on a motorcycle. Really, I care about how you treat me when I was new in the industry, and you always made time for me and talked to me, and like I said, you're a good dude, man.
Man, there's some, how it is. There's some very good motorcycle guys, like guys on bikes that do not have good personalities. I'll tell you that right now.
That is true, and you're not one of those, and I cannot wait to see you fully recovered. And like I said, even if you're not back on a motorcycle competitively, I want to see you back at the races, and I can't wait to interview you in person.
There's a race this year at MetLife, and that's literally 50 minutes from my house, so I might need to come and obviously watch and hang out for a bit.
Yeah, dude, let's make that a goal. I don't think that's one that's on my schedule, but if you make it to that race, I'll make Michael Lindsay send me.
All right.
So let's make that a goal.
That's a deal.
Heal up. When do you get home? When are you heading back to New Jersey? How soon?
So being in, like I said, it's been tough trying to get these CT scans, MRIs out here. So we're not sure. The real date of us leaving is the 28th, but I might go home a little earlier just to kind of figure out the situations that I'm having. So we're not sure yet, though.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing posts and social media stuff saying that you're doing better and better and better, man. I can't wait.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you guys for always looking out for me.
You got it, Brandon. Tell Madison thank you, and we're sending our love.
I appreciate it. Good talking to y'all.
You too, buddy. See ya.
See ya.
That's Brandon and Madison Hart-Raft. It's tough, bro. That's gut-wrenching, man, but it is part of what we do. And he does seem really good spirits, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we talked before we got on the air. I was like, man, these interviews, it almost made me not want to do it because then these questions you ask, I kind of feel like a dick having to talk about that stuff. But it was good to see he was very positive about it, and I think he kind of understand where he's at, and he's just taking it one day at a time. And to see them, going through that together as a couple, I think that's very beautiful, and they'll be better for it. And I think he'll come back, and his wife even said, one way or another, he'll be stronger for it. So,
I agree. Yeah, that was a tough thing to hear. You never want to see anybody injured. It's been a really good show. We're gonna get back to our e-bike discussion.
I didn't really want to we kind of had the flow of the conversation going. I didn't really want to bring it up, and it may have already been something talked about. But what do you know? How the crash happened?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay,
I got somebody on the line.
Oh, okay.
Yes, caller.
Yes, I'd like to call and just say that Scotty is like a champion, and you're a dick because he obviously, is just a cool guy, and you're not.
Man, that's not how I thought this was going to go. I like this.
That was poorly said. Hang on.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot. Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
So,
TJ, you've been cleaning air filters with the windows closed.
let's
and we use gasoline too, so it's definitely working.
Let's talk about your poverty bike.
My EBT mountain bike.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What does EBT stand for?
That's the card that they give you for having food stamps.
I was wondering what the hell that meant when you kept putting that text, and I just passed over it.
Well, what's it called? Chase is the one that said it, I think, originally, or maybe it's JT, one of those guys.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so all right, let's get into this contraption you have built.
That thing's quick, dude. It's quick.
Okay, so here's
so
to give the listeners a little bit of something to understand. Everybody that we hang out with pretty much kind of all either has or rides mountain bikes. And over the years, I've wanted to partake because parts of mountain biking are fun. But living in East Texas, you spend 95% of your time pedaling, and that sucks.
Which you're supposed to do on an e-bike, by the way, Scotty.
Yeah.
The point is assist.
Hold on.
He built a moped.
So I decided I wanted to be able to go ride. And for me to do that, I decided the e-bike that you and all your buddies that talk about e-bikes are awesome. That sounds fun, and it'd be even double fun if it had a throttle. And so
again, you built a moped.
Wait, e-bikes don't have throttles?
No.
It's pedal assist. You pedal, and when you pedal, it makes the thing go.
You can pedal assist this bike, or you could just twist the throttle and ride it like like a dirt bike. It's the best of both worlds.
I'll say, TJ, when I hopped on it, and I was impressed about how quick that thing was.
And the motor is mounted on the top frame, and it looks like there's an anchor on the.
No. The battery. Okay.
Oh, that's the battery. Okay, whatever.
When I did some research into this, I was like, I got the motor that I wanted that is legal for the trails, is the biggest you can put on there legally. But then I thought, I want a big battery because I don't want it to die in the middle of the trails because that'd be the worst. And so I ordered maybe too big of a battery.
Yeah, because all these companies, Scotty, that make these high-end mountain bikes that have been doing this and have it perfected, they don't know. I want to go bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He's got a liquor cabinet on his top frame. I mean, he could.
Dude, I trust a redneck in a garage way more than I trust a corporation.
So if anybody who's listening, anybody in the YouTube chat, if you click on my link in the YouTube deal, or you can see the bike in my video that I built, and I have more testing coming. And my thing is this, and what I need the listeners to help me promote is I need to get Jamie and Scott, everybody together, make a video of everybody testing this thing out on the mountain bike trails.
Yeah, I'm out.
Well, yeah, I don't really, I've never really done mountain biking stuff that much, so I'm not trying to die.
Yeah, well, no, you won't. You won't at all. The only reason why I crashed is because I was following Doc. I misunderstood what he said, and I followed him over like a jump that wasn't a jump. It was more of a drop, and I tried to send it and then weeded myself all the way down a hill.
Jesus, TJ.
But that had nothing to do with the bike. And I will say the bike held up. And then the happy accident about the battery being up top means that you can actually hold the bike like squeeze with your knees like you do on a dirt bike, and it makes it even better. So it was like a very happy accident the way it's designed, and I think I like it even more now.
I don't even know what to say.
So one of the listeners said it reminds me of Tool Time.
It is very similar to
Yeah.
Tim Taylor. Yeah,
More power.
Yeah, it's very similar. And but with Tim Taylor, his shit always failed.
Yeah.
TJ stuff actually generally works. It just looks hideous.
Dude,
I did buy an old mountain bike to put it on. So
right.
Yeah, and yeah, like you say, that thing you can put onto anything else that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can put it on the back of his truck because it's big enough.
Well, anyways, so if anybody was interested,
They're not.
A Moto Heads Garage, you can check it out. It's a fun build, and I've got more coming.
Is he
more
using
testing.
his own show to pump his own show?
Yeah. Well, he's not part of
Do
this
what?
show. He asked if you were promoting your show on your own show. It's like, well,
I am promoting my channel on our show. Yeah, I
On
guess
your
so. I didn't
channel?
think about that. Yeah, it's a show about a show.
all right, TJ. Well, who are your picks for A1?
For
something
A1,
retarded.
like winners in both classes.
Yeah, give me your winners in each class, and we got to get out of here. We got to wrap this thing
I
up.
just 450 class. I'm gonna have to say Roxon.
250 class.
Jet.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy.
I'm gonna go Jason Anderson, and I'm gonna take Faulkner, just because.
Yeah, and I think that Scotty's take on Cole, if
Colt?
he
Not Cole. I
if
don't
he's
know who Cole
right
is.
at all. If Cole has a great year and everybody's
Who
talking
the hell
about
is
him,
Cole?
Cole.
Cole
I don't know who
Seeley?
is- yeah,
He's only
Colt
doing a couple
Seeley,
of
is he
rounds.
back?
He's
Colt.
only-
I'm sorry, it's Colt. I said Colt.
Colt 45,
sorry.
baby.
Colt Nichols. If he has, if he's right about this at all about Colt, then he will. He'll never let you live that down.
Well, I mean,
No, he would. Darkside would just change the subject. Not
I
let me
didn't say
speak
he
much.
can't win.
No, we're just going to say that if he's doing great when he comes on the show, Scotty's going to be like, "Look, I believed in you the whole time,"
Yeah.
and Jamie never.
And
did.
I didn't think you could top 3 consistently.
And then Jamie went along to say that he's never been a dick ever.
I haven't.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. See ya.
Later.
Later. All right. That was TJ. That was show 253. Anything else before we go, Scotty?
No, man. Good luck being a Cali guy for a month.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm gonna go ride at AEO's track, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ride.
You're not
or
allowed to.
actually-
You're not allowed to get on the track though.
No, he said I could.
Okay.
And then I'm supposed to go to Richard
Film
Taylor's,
it, 'cause I wanna
Richard
see
Taylor's
that.
track, and man, we're gonna ride a lot while I'm out there.
You could ride
we're
that
going-
Supercross track and then take the video, like put it on like a 2 times fast forward, and still not have a better lap time than one of the
Facts.
than
I
one of
wouldn't
the
argue that
pros.
because I wouldn't be jumping anything. I'll just be rolling everything.
Yeah.
Like, how's he going? How's his lap times the same?
He's like,
when he's rolling everything.
"Woo."
I think we're gonna go to Glamis, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're going to the
Don't jump on anybody.
do my best, but it's gonna be fun. I want to thank for the very last time with some of these: the Cherubies USA, Race Tech, Fly Racing, X Brand Goggles, Works Connection, Torque One Racing, our Jerky, Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID, Shock Socks, Williams Motor Works, Extreme Colors, Blood Lubricants, Power Band Racing, TruFusion Sports, Grill Your Ass Off. All the sponsors that have stuck with us for all this time, thank you. We will be back with some new sponsors,
New year,
a little
new
new
us.
setup in a new year. Just stick with us. I don't know exactly when the next show is going to be. I know there won't be one next week. I'll be driving. We should be doing something the following week from Michael Lindsay's place or wherever we decide to set up. Stick with us. We'll be back. Like I keep saying, thanks. That's it. That's 253. We're out of here. Ah, dang, I forgot to play the music.